So, picture this for a second. You're stuck in a muddy trench in the middle of a really bleak, terrifying war.
Right. Sounds awful.
Yeah, the world is literally falling apart around you.
Yeah.
And, well, how do you cope? You huddle in a bunker, you tune out the explosions, and you just absolutely obsess over a cheesy, brightly colored Saturday morning cartoon.
Which is completely jarring.
It really is. But that massive cognitive dissonance like bracing for impact while a cheerful little jingle plays in your head is exactly what we're looking at today.
Welcome to our deep dive into the upcoming 30th anniversary revival of the 1996 anime Martian Successor Nadesico.
It's this fascinating psychological defense mechanism, and a perfect time to revisit it, honestly.
Definitely, because if you're wondering why a cult classic 90s mecha satire suddenly back in the spotlight, or, why its weird blend of deep cynicism and genuine heart matters to you today, well, that's our mission.
Yeah, and to really get why this matters, you kind of have to look at what was happening back in 1996. The anime industry was just entirely consumed by Neon Genesis Evangelion. Oh, wow, yeah. That show was a massive psychological gut punch.
Exactly. And suddenly, every studio was just scrambling to make the next dark existential deconstruction of the giant robot genre. It was just this absolute sea of biomechanical angst.
Which makes Nadesico sound completely insane on paper. It kind of just warped onto the scene and offered this radical alternative where, you're laughing one minute and then completely heartbroken the next.
It really was a tonal roller coaster.
Yeah. The protagonist, Akito Tenkawa, is this reluctant cook who gets forced into piloting a mech in the brutal Jovian War. But amidst all this death, all he really wants to do is watch his favorite, idealistic, 70s-style fictional cartoon, Gekiganger 3.
And that right there is where the genius lies.
Yeah.
It's this brilliantly layered meta-commentary on being an otaku-like, a hardcore fan obsessed with pop culture.
Right.
The show directly contrasts the grim, corporate-driven reality of interstellar warfare with the hot-blooded, really simplistic idealism of the media these characters actually grew up watching.
So they're basically using their fandom as a shield against trauma.
Yeah, precisely. It plays with the concept of a real robot show, which usually features gritty, physics-based military mechs, by having the characters inside that gritty reality obsess over a magical, physics-defying cartoon.
That's so clever. But wait, if the whole thing is just like a satire of existing tropes, how did it end up inventing new ones? Because reading through the sources for this deep dive, I keep seeing claims about this one specific character, Ruri Hoshino.
Oh, Ruri.
Yeah. Is she really the literal blueprint for a trope we see everywhere today? Like the reason almost every modern anime has that blue-haired deadpan girl character.
I know it sounds like a huge exaggeration, but if you trace the history, it's highly accurate. Long before that archetype was just, a seasonal requirement, Ruri was dominating popularity polls.
Just by being entirely unbothered by everything.
Pretty much. She sits at her console and just drops this devastating catchphrase, baka baka, which translates to idiot. And it just cuts right through the absurdity of all the adults running the ship.
And to be fair, they are completely absurd. The ship, the Nadesico, is owned by this mega corporation, and instead of a trained military crew, they staff it with eccentrics, misfits, and literal voice actors just to boost their ratings.
Right, but that's the trick. Ruri's deadpan reactions highlight all that corporate absurdity, but that same weird ragtag crew actually grounds the series emotionally.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they start to feel like a real flawed family. The show forces you to look at a messy, compromised world and asks, well, can we still believe in heroes anyway?
Which perfectly brings us to 2026 and this really mysterious new 30th anniversary project. I get the legacy, but bringing it back exactly 3 decades later seems so specific.
It is, and the studio, Production IG, is being incredibly secretive about it.
Yeah. They absorbed the original studio High-Mobile, but they won't even say if this is a reboot or a movie or maybe just a 4K remaster. So why is the fan base buzzing so loudly about this?
It really comes down to a jarring gap in the lore. See, the original TV series ended on a relatively hopeful note. But then came the sequel film, The Prince of Darkness, which took this massive, massive tonal shift. It was bleak, it was tragic, and it just emotionally devastated the fan base.
Wait, really? Just complete emotional whiplash?
Total whiplash.
Oh, man. So fans aren't just looking for nostalgia then. They're desperately hoping this new project fixes the timeline, right? Maybe finally giving Akito and Eureka the happy ending that the movie just totally stripped away?
Precisely. They want to return to that Gekiganger spirit. It's this core idea that even in the cold, corporate vacuum of space. You still need a little bit of earnest, hot-blooded hope just to get through the day.
That actually leaves us with a really fascinating thought to take away from all this. Right now, our own entertainment landscape is completely saturated with endless gritty reboots and just so much media cynicism.
It really is everywhere.
Yeah. So you have to wonder, could returning to a story that uses satire not to mock things, but to actively defend earnestness be the ultimate cure for modern audience burnout?
That's a great question to leave on.
I think so too. Because maybe sometimes when you find yourself stuck in the trenches of a messy world, holding on to that cheesy Saturday morning cartoon is exactly what you need to survive.